I am Shango Los, host of the Shaping Fire podcast, and I will be co-host today with...
I'm Amanda Chicago Lewis. I am a cannabis journalist. I write for Rolling Stone and a bunch of other publications, and I am very excited to be here for my very first Cultivation Classic ever.
And my very first Cultivation Classic as well. You know, I've wanted to be here because, of course, the speaker list every year is just astonishing, right? And, you know, any excuse to come to Portland.
Of course. I think Portland actually has managed to maintain a unique and sort of wonderful cannabis culture that toes the line, threads the needle in between craft and corporate in a way that I really enjoy visiting for.
Yeah, and you know, preserving that kind of, remaining medical, take care of patients, do it ourselves, don't sell out kind of vibe has always been part of what Portland is. But this event today, I mean, doesn't this event, just coming in and seeing who's here, doesn't it feel like the medical days? Doesn't it? You can feel the heart in the room. And that's what drew me to participate. So, let's go ahead and get the housekeeping announcements taken care of. So there's a lot of exciting programming today. If you got here early, you probably walked around the hallways to see the individualized rooms and things that will be going on in each of the classrooms, since this is a former school. And also the hallway on this side where you can see the analytical posters for all of the entries. I spent a little bit of time there today, but don't miss it. So since you're here, you probably already know that the Cultivation Classic is the only cannabis competition that is solely organic. And every year, some folks, they get dropped out simply because there are chemicals found. So it is rigorously analytical and organic, and we love that. Let's see here. So we will be celebrating the competition here tonight at 7 o'clock. But until that point, it's all going to be quality education from industry leaders. We hope that many of you have had a chance to check out some of the events and the programs that have been going all around town and this morning. And of course, a huge round of applause to all the partners who contributed to the expanded event format by adding another day. All of our partners, they took an extensive amount of time to get their crews together to develop content so that you could kind of go to all the open houses in Portland yesterday. So let's have a round of applause for all of our partners.
Yeah, Shango. So I have been to, as a cannabis journalist for the past 5 or 6 years, I have been to a lot of cannabis-infused meals. Last night, as part of the Cultivation Classic, went to an infused dinner hosted by Chef Leather Stores, who I guess has a restaurant called Noble Rot. It was the best infused dinner I have ever been a part of. Every course had this elaborate plate where there were different things happening on different parts of the plate, and all the tastes came together, and the infusion sort of drifted me into the ideal amount of buzz. It was a really nice time. Very Portland for me, I think, to experience, the food. The food is the big thing here, right?
Well, and that's all I've been doing since I've been here. I missed the Infused event yesterday because a tour I did yesterday went long. But looking at other people's photographs on Instagram, I was doing this finger spread to try to read over their shoulder to read the menu as a menu nerd. But while you were
6 kinds of mushrooms in one thing.
and while you were at the Infused event, I was lucky enough to join Dr. Ethan Russo and Jeremy Plum for an in-depth tour of Proof Cultivar to see all the new tech over there. So all my nerd came out, and it was really nice and very welcoming. So
Cannabis science superstars in the building.
Yeah, it's been fantastic.
So there are printed programs. Make sure you get those. Pick up your pocket-sized booklets sponsored by Shadowbox Farms in collaboration with Scout Books. Those are downstairs at HQ. But please note the most updated schedule and full speaker bios can be found online at cultivationclassic.cc. And speaking of the internet, if you're going to tweet about what's going on today, if you're going to post on Instagram, please do that. But make sure you include the hashtag Cultivation Classic or tag at Cultivation Classic. Today's closed captioning is provided by High Five Access and Typewell. There are reserved seats up here on the right of the stage for those looking to utilize this service.
Fantastic. So events like these could not be possible with the support of many, many generous sponsors. One of them is local True Terpenes, our 2019 main stage sponsor, and the reason we all get to enjoy the first ever custom beer made for the cannabis event, which is something I'm looking forward to.
That's an alcoholic beer with food-derived cannabis-flavored terpenes.
Exactly.
So it's alcohol that tastes like weed?
Blackberry Kush, I think, they used a True
Why not?
Terpenes a chemical terpene profile, and then added it in at the end, maybe with a dry hop.
living in the
I don't know
future.
that. I'm making
Roll
that
with
up, but
it.
it's going to taste delicious. I'm looking forward to it. I guess they already tapped the keg yesterday, so some of you have probably already tried it. So let's go ahead and welcome Ben Cassiday, who's a good friend of mine from True Terpenes. He's going to say a few words, and then we're going to get going. Welcome, Ben.
Thank you for the introduction. I want to thank everybody for coming to the Cultivation Classic, kind of in the same vein as what we've just heard with the introduction here, you know, traveling all over the country and going to different events. You know, you see a lot of the same, and I'm so excited that one of my absolute favorite events happens within sight of my office. You know, the Cultivation Classic really is kind of the culmination of quality Oregon cannabis, and it has so many great ethos and logos involved in the production of the event, from the people and the level of inclusion and everything. I really love to be a part of this, and to be able to be one of the main sponsors this year. Is, you know, as you start as a bootstrap small business and you grow over the years, you know, you just never know where you'll find yourself. So I just want to encourage everybody. You know, I never would have thought we'd have the funds or the resources to be a part of putting this on, and today it's just an honor. So just want to thank everybody that let us, you know, take part and that came, and, you know, the event happens from both sides, the production staff and the people that are coming and taking part of it. From somebody that's been thinking about terpenes for, you know, 4 or 5 years in different levels, one of the things that excites me most about Cultivation Classic is the display of the data of the participant entries. So if you haven't had the opportunity to go around the back side, I think it would be this side of the cube outside and take a look at all the test results. I always encourage people to try to look for patterns, and one of the ones that I noticed in looking at the applications, the participants as they were putting them up today, is that if you look at I can't think of the term that it was used, but basically the aroma intensity. If you look at all of the different participants, you'll find that if it's above a 4 out of 5 on the aroma intensity, there's only 3 entries that I saw that were not terpinolene dominant, that were above a 4 in aromatic intensity, which is kind of interesting to me. The ones that were, there was 1 beta-caryophyllene dominant, 1 myrcene dominant, and 1 limonene dominant. But other than that, almost everything else was terpinolene dominant for these pungent, kind of top note aromas. So it's something just to look into, kind of if you can take time to compare things that you've tried before, things that you'd like to try, and just start to look at, you know, what's different between the two. I get really excited when there's a public display of this sort of information that's digestible, and I think that's one of the main things that Cultivation Classic has done so well. So as a company, True Terpenes, you know, we really do all things terpenes. We derive them from the plant and do all sorts of fun things with them. We get them from food sources, from basically any essential oil-bearing plant we can extract and isolate terpenes and do formulations. And, you know, up until now in history, the majority of use of them has been in cannabis products, but the things that I'm actually most excited about are things like that beer, things where we can consume it in addition to the cannabis that we're consuming. As the quality and availability of cannabis becomes, you know, more widespread and available, it's the things that we can do with cannabis. You know, it's the topical lotions, the drinks, the consumable effervescent tablets that you can use to control the experience that you're having, that I'm most excited about. So look out for terpene-infused products, you know, from anywhere from your dispensary to New Seasons over the next year, and I think you're going to find some really cool experiences that are going to become available to us. So thanks everybody for coming, and I appreciate it.
Thanks, Ben. Love those true terpenes, don't like those false terpenes. One more quick note, local vintage shop Urbanite provided this super sleek stage setup. Thank you to them. I did sit in this chair earlier when none of you were here. It was very comfortable. So let's get on with it.